Hi everyone, my name is Sujata. Today we are going to do a Diwali themed yoga session. So this will be ideal for kids to join in with the practice. We'll try and intertwine and interweave as many asanas as we can with one of the famous Diwali stories, the Ramayan. So let's begin with the king Dashrath. So King Dashrath has three wives and he is the ruler of Ayodhya. Now, King Dashrath has three wives but no children. So he decides that he is going to do a fire sacrifice along with his queens. Here is the fire log pose, which signifies the Yajna Kunda. So taking your left shin in front, stacking the right shin on top. There's a big box shape on my legs, flexing both of your feet, and there's your fire log pose. So King Dasharath, along with his wives, is doing this fire sock sacrifice. Let's swap legs. So we have Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi, along with Dasharath, doing this fire sacrifice. And the gods are happy, and out comes a deity from this Agni and offers the king payasam. And the deity says to the king that distribute this amongst your wives, let them have this kheer, this payasam, and you will have children. And lo and behold, as soon as the queens have had this payasam, this prasad, the queens soon find out that they're pregnant and they have babies. Between these three queens, we have four babies that are born. And so let's move on to the baby cradling pose. In the crook of one elbow, you hook your knee, and in the crook of the other elbow, you hook your foot. So I've got my left shin in this posture, and I'm gently rocking baby Ram to sleep. So the princes who are born are Ram, Bharat, Shatrughna, and Lakshman. Swapping legs, again crook, and all the babies are looked after by the queens. This is a good hip opener, by the way. Okay, release. So the babies are growing up, the princes grow up. Soon they become teenagers, and all the four princes are married. King Dashrath thinks to himself that it is now time that he retires and hands over the reins to the eldest, who is Lord Ram. Now, one day before Lord Ram is going to be crowned, Kaikeyi, this is not Ram's mum, but Bharat's mum, she goes into a rage of fury and she says, no, I don't want Ram to be king. I only want my son Bharat to be king. She had fought in a war with King Dasharath, and she had these boons that she says she wants them as a favor now, and she wants Ram and Sita, Ram's wife, to be sent into exile. Ram, being the dutiful son, agrees, and he, his wife, and his younger brother Lakshman set off to the forests. As they walk through these forests have lots and lots of trees. So let's go into wide arms. Take your hands up towards the ceiling. Dip down to the right, Kati Chakrasana. Straighten, lengthen, dip down to the left. And these trees are swaying in the wind, in the light breeze. And as Ram, Lakshman, and Sita walk through these woods, they look for a clearing so that they can build a little hut for themselves to stay. And they find a clearing. So Ram, Sita, and Lakshman build a little hut for themselves to live in this clearing, and they start to spend their days here. Ravan, the king of Lanka, in the meantime, he is a demon and he hears of the beauty of Sita and he thinks, I want to kidnap Sita. Now, it wasn't as easy to kidnap Sita because, of course, Lakshman and Ram were very brave, they were valiant. So Ravan devises a plan. He sends his assistant, who is a magical being who can transform himself into any creature, and Marich transforms himself into the deer. So let's do the deer pose. My feet are to the left, my knees are going to the right. I'm going to turn my torso to the right, and I'm going to release myself down to the floor, making a cushion with my hands, releasing my forehead on my two hands. Now this beautiful deer is roaming around this hut, and of course, as predicted, Sita sees this deer. Deer pose on the other side. And Sita says to Ram that, I want that deer, Ram. Please go and hunt it down for me. Ram sets off into the forest to hunt down the deer, and he hunts the deer down. But of course, remember, this deer is a magical creature, and as it's dying, it mimics Ram's voice and shouts out, help, help. Now, Sita and Lakshman, who are in the hut, hear this voice, and Sita and Lakshman get really, really worried. So Sita tells Lakshman that you have to go and look for your brother. Now, Lakshman is also very suspicious about this whole thing, and he's concerned about the safety of his sister-in-law. So what he does is he draws this big, huge Lakshman Resha around their hut. So sitting either cross-legged or in the Vajrasan, walking your hands further up, coming into the child's pose, Shashankasan, taking your hands all the way to one side, and this signifies our Lakshman Resha, release to one side. Come back to center, and the Lakshman Rekha to the other side. This is like the boundary that has been drawn by Lakshman, and it's a boundary that's magical, that will keep Sita safe. Come back to center, and as Lakshman goes into the forest looking for his brother, he tells Sita not to step out of this boundary. The boundary will keep Sita safe. So when Lakshman is gone, Ravan looks out for this opportunity and comes dressed in the robes of a really poor sadhu, and he says to Sita, Sita ma, please give me something to eat. And Sita says, I can't really step out of this boundary. But he uses his coaxing and tells her that, oh, I'm a poor man. What am I going to do? I'm only a sadhu. I'm only a holy man. And Sita thinks to herself, yeah, what's the holy man going to do? And she steps out. And as soon as she steps out of the Lakshman Rekha's protection is gone, and Ravan whisks her to Lanka. Now, en route to Lanka, they meet the Garud, Jatayu. Jatayu desperately tries to save Sita. And so if we wrap our left hand around our right, you can join your hands in prayer, or you can release your hands on top of your shoulders. And here's Jatayu trying to fight Ravan and not letting him take Sita away to Lanka. But Jatayu's fight is to no avail. Swap hands. And the poor bird has his wings chopped off, and Ravan successfully takes Sita to Lanka. Release. Now, when Ram and Lakshman come back to the hut and realize that Sita is gone, they are really, really worried, and they think, what should we do? Here enters our friend Hanuman. So we could do the Hanumanasana here. So hands coming onto all fours like this, hands underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips, taking your left foot in the front. And if you've seen the statue of Hanuman, you'll often see him like this with his hands in prayer by the feet of Ram. And so here's our Hanuman pose. Taking your hands up towards the ceiling, maybe releasing your hips down. If you're stable, looking up. So Hanuman, the monkey god, is a big bhakta of Lord Ram. And him, along with his monkey Sena, decide to help Lord Ram, doing the Hanumanasana on the other side, right foot in between, kneeling up, taking your hands together in prayer. Once you're stable, taking your hands up towards the ceiling and maybe doing a bit of a backward bend. Release. And so Hanuman and his friends decide to help Ram, and what they do is they build a bridge. They build a bridge across to Lanka, taking your feet towards the mat, knees are bent, engaging the whole of your leg by keeping your knees together, curling your tailbone and gently lifting your hips as much as you can. Now this is also called the Setu Bandhasan in Sanskrit and the bridge pose in English. And we want a strong bridge, so push those hips high, take those knees together. And all the monkey Sena, the little troop of monkeys, and Ram, and Lakshman, and Hanuman, of course, release down. And Hanuman, of course, cross over to Lanka. And so there begins the war with Ravan and his mighty army. So spreading your legs out, taking your left foot pointing to the front of the mat, dipping the left knee so that it's roughly on top of your left ankle, we will spread our arms out, palms are facing down, looking straight ahead through the middle finger on your left hand, and then we'll do the reverse warrior. Now Ravan has 10 heads, and so Ram has the task of shooting each head at a time. So 1, breathe in, backwards bend. 2, breathe in, backwards bend. 3, and 4. And last one on this side, 5. Spread your arms, straighten your knee, swap sides. So my right foot is pointing to the mat. My right knee is bent so that it's roughly on top of the right ankle. Spreading your arms out, gaze is through the middle finger on your right palm. And remember, we still have 5 heads to go. So reverse warrior. Number 6 head is gone. Number 7 head is gone. Let's include a side angle pose. Number 8 is gone. Reverse warrior. Number 9 is gone, and this big huge war keeps going, and so all these warriors are signifying this war. And number 10 is gone. However, our Ravan is no ordinary creature. All of these 10 heads go down, are chopped off, and there are 10 more that crop up in its place. So now Ram really has to use his powers, and he uses the most powerful astra, and that is the Brahmastra. For the Brahmastra, he invokes this Brahmastra mantra, and he aims at Ravan's heart, taking his bow, and he pulls the arrow, aiming at his heart with the Brahmastra. And there he aims at Ravan's heart and pulls. And Ravan is dead. Ravan is dead. There's rejoice and happiness all over in Lanka and in Ayodhya. So of course 14 years have passed in this whole process. We've leapfrogged for 14 years. And when Ram, Lakshman and Sita come back home, the people of Ayodhya are so happy that they light lamps everywhere. So just let's do the Diva Mudra. So the mudra of the lamp. So my little finger and my thumb are joined together, 3 fingers are stretched out, and the streets of the whole of Ayodhya have lamps lit everywhere. On the roads, on the houses, and all along the streets. So if you can, let's see if you can dip down in your knees, take the backs of your hands towards each other, looking straight ahead. Wonderful, big circle of arms, straighten your knees. And this is exactly why we bow down to Lord Ram. If you are celebrating it, happy Diwali. Hope you enjoyed the story, and hope you enjoyed a really short practice, a short fun practice, I hope. If you enjoyed today's practice, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.